like Mount Zion, those who trust in Yahweh are like Mount Zion. They cannot be moved. They cannot be moved. They cannot be moved. They cannot be moved. From this time and forever, as long as the moon keeps time, you stand before me, the apple of my eye. You will not be moved. You will not be moved. You will not be moved. Unfolds us, so Yahweh indwells us. We cannot be moved. We cannot be moved. We cannot be moved. We will not be praise to Yahweh, who lives forever. He cannot be moved. He cannot be moved. He cannot be moved. Those who trust in Yahweh are like Mount Zion. Those who trust in Yahweh are like Mount Zion. Trust in Yahweh. Trust in Yahweh.
Blessed be the name of Yahweh. Praise Yahweh, and we are excited to share with you the updated information here. For those of you who don't know already, if you watched the broadcast today, you might know. But last night was the 13th month on the calendar, and as of multiple Newman reports, Ohio, Florida, California, Missouri, or Arizona, not Israel. But tonight would be, they did have confirmed sighting in Israel. And so looking at the information, we are now another month. So what month is it? Is it the first month or is it the 13th month? From what I understand, the reports I've gotten from Israel, it's been very cold. We had a cold blast here in Missouri, and about the same time they were having a cold blast in Israel. Ice, waterways turning to ice, very, very cold, and so of course we know Yahweh is in charge of the weather. Scripture says this is a land that Yahweh was always watching from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. A land for which Yahweh cares, according to Deuteronomy chapter 11 and verse 12. And the eyes of Yahweh are always on it. And that means today. His eyes are on the land, and he is bringing the calendar he wants into the land based on how things are going there. Okay? So we're going to have a pretty brief broadcast tonight. I don't have to collect any new moon reports, and there's only really one event, I guess you could say, that took place during the 13th month, although it didn't really start in the 13th month, but there is something indicating in Scripture that there was indeed a 13th month that was being observed. So, so we're going to take a minute here, and we're going to start with our text in Deuteronomy chapter 16. Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 1. I'm a firm believer that the calendar of Yahweh is going to be in the Torah. I don't have to look at some other outside source to find it. I believe it's in the Torah. Otherwise, I am guilty of adding to. He says, do not add to, do not take away from the Torah. If I have to find my calendar in some other place, my personal conviction is it has to be in the Torah. Otherwise, I'm adding something to it. So in Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 1 is the closest text I can find to something being in Scripture, in the Torah, for instruction on when the new year begins. And the word in Deuteronomy 16:1, observe, is from Hebrew shamar. It's actually translated watchman and watch several times. So watch the month, which we understand to be the new moon. The word in Hebrew for moon, yerach, is translated month well over a dozen times in Scripture. When Moshe was hidden for 3 yerachs, 3 months, 3 moons. And so moon and chodesh are used interchangeably in actually one place in 2 Kings 8:1. It's used interchangeably. Maybe it's 1 Kings 8:1. So anyway, watch for the new moon of, and the Hebrew doesn't say Abib, it says Aviv. And it actually says Ha-Aviv, which means the Aviv. So watch for the new moon of the Aviv. So when you're watching for new moons, look for the new moon in which you have Aviv. What is Aviv? Aviv in Scripture is harvestable barley. And so on the new moon in which there is harvestable barley, that, he says, is when you keep the Passover to Yahweh your Elohim. Now we know that the first month of the year, according to Exodus chapter 12, is the month in which Passover is observed. He said, this month shall be the beginning of your months. So he says, for in the month of the Aviv, when the barley was ripe, Yahweh, your mighty one, brought you out of Egypt by night. And so he brought them out by night, and it was on the 15th of the Aviv. Actually, 15th of Nisan is the actual name of the month. I don't necessarily believe that the name of the month is Aviv. The name of the month, there's a place that calls it Nisan. And some people say, oh, that's a pagan thing, don't do that. Oh, no. It's in Scripture. And it's in Nehemiah chapter 2, Nisan, Nehemiah chapter 2, and it's also in Esther chapter 3, verse 7. So I don't think Yahweh is going to allow that in his holy word for his calendar to be named after something that's not right. And since the month is already named in Scripture, why would we need a second name? So the fact that a name came in shows that this may not have been a name at all, Aviv. It may have just been saying him, watch for the new moon of the Aviv. So, and that's when you keep Passover. So Looking at the fields in Israel, there are certain fields that are traditionally very early fields where you're more likely to see Aviv there due to its location and various reasons. And so we get reports from Brian Cumbery and others from the land of Israel to find whether there is harvestable barley. When we get to the end of the 12th month, then if there's harvestable barley, it's a new year. Get to the end of the 12th month, and there's no Aviv, then it can't be the month to keep Passover. And so there's no choice but to add another month until there's a month in which there is Aviv. Very simple. And so, looking at the fields, this picture was taken yesterday. You can see there's no way that field is anywhere near ready. When it's ready, it starts to turn golden brown. And it is still green. There is no way that field is anywhere close. It may not be harvestable for another 3 or 4 weeks. So that field is not ready, and this is one of the earlier fields. And here's another one from 2 days prior. It's even greener. Look how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? And this is Israel, brothers and sisters. This is a beautiful land. You may not realize it, but it's a beautiful land. And so, and look at the trees. You think that you're in Arizona, or not Arizona, in Indiana or something, So, yeah, this is a beautiful place. This is barley growing, and a massive, massive barley field, and it's nowhere near close. And these are traditionally early fields. And so no one has been able to discover one field in Israel that was Aviv. And that being the case, it is not yet the new moon, as it says here. It is not the new moon of the Aviv. There's no harvestable barley in Israel right now. No one can go and harvest anything. If you tried, you wouldn't get anything out of it. So some people say, well, Tom, where is there a 13th month in Scripture? Because, there's nothing mentioned in the Bible about a 13th month. Well, there's 1 month, I think there's only one event that happened. I forget what month it is. It might have been the 11th month or 10th. Only one biblical event happened. And so if the 13th month is only going to happen about once every 3 years, it shouldn't be too much of a surprise that there's no events that are mentioned in that month. And so this month is called Adar II or Adar II. There's not really any biblical name for it. And Adar is the 12th month, and so people call this Adar Bet or Adar II. So now, the 13th month of Yahweh's calendar, let's look at something that actually would have been going on during this 13th month. Ezekiel chapter 1, it says, Now it came to pass in the 30th year, in the 4th month, on the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river Chabar, that the heavens were open, and I saw visions of Elohim. On the 5th day of the month, which was in the 5th year of King Jehoiakim's captivity, the word of Yahweh came expressly to Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Chabar, and the hand of Yahweh was upon him there. This is the very, very beginning of the book of Ezekiel. And this is the 4th month, 5th day of the month, and on the 5th day of this month, the word of Yahweh comes upon Ezekiel. Now, if we were to continue to read, there's the vision of the chariot and the wheels. And in chapter 2, he says, Stand on your feet, and I'm going to speak to you. He's going to send you to the children of Israel. There's vision of the scroll. You go into chapter 3. He eats the scroll. And then you go into chapter 4. So you take a clay tablet and portray the city there. Okay, and so this is the month, fourth month, fifth day of the month, when Ezekiel begins to see the visions. Okay, now this is last year's calendar, 2024. And so, chapter 4 now, he says, "You also, son of man, take a clay tablet and lay it before you and portray it on a city, Jerusalem. Lay a siege against it, build a siege wall against it, and heap up a mound against it. Set camps also against it also, and place battering rams against it all around." And so he's asking Ezekiel to be a bit of an artist here and portray the city of Jerusalem. He says, "Moreover, take for yourself an iron plate and set it as an iron wall between you and the city. Set your face against it, and it shall be besieged, and you shall lay siege against it. This will be a sign to the house of Israel." Then he says, "Lie also on your left side, and lay the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it. According to the number of days that you lie on it, you shall bear their iniquity. For I have laid on you the years of their iniquity, according to the number of days, 390 days. So you shall bear the iniquity of the house of Israel. And when you have completed them, lie again on your right side. Then you shall bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have laid on you a day for each year." So 390 days plus 40 days would be 430 days. The 390 days he lays on his left side, and then 40 days he lies on his right side. Now, how about a guy getting bed sores? But Yahweh must have helped him out here, right? All right. Then he says, "Therefore you shall set your face toward the siege of Jerusalem. Your arm shall be uncovered, and you shall prophesy against it. And surely I will restrain you, so that you cannot turn from one side to the other till you have ended the days of your siege." So you can't even do it. Yahweh is going to prevent you. You can't turn from one side to the other until you have ended the days of your siege. So he's stuck. He's stuck. He can't turn. "Also, take for yourself wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt. Put them into one vessel and make bread of them for yourself. During the number of the days that you lie on your side, 390 days, you shall eat it." So, 430 days total. Ezekiel chapter 4. So, now I know each lunar month, based on the orbit of the moon, is average 29.5 and some change days on average, okay? So, how many months would there be in 430 days? It would translate, if you take 430 divided by 29.5, it would be 14.57 months. Now, if you have a 12-month year, the fifth day of the fourth month, and you go 1 year and 2.5 months, the third week of the seventh month is where you end up. Third week of the seventh month is where you end up. Now, if you go 13 months, it's different. But you go 12 months, so the third week of the seventh month. And so then I'm going to point out he continued to engage in activity in chapter 5. In chapter 6, there's a sword against Jerusalem in chapter 5. And the word of Yahweh came again in chapter 6. Judgment on Israel. And then chapter 7, There's a disaster that's talked about that's going to come. And then we have in the 6th year. So go back here. This is Ezekiel chapter 4 is in the 5th year of, I'm sorry, go back to chapter 1. The 5th year of King Jehoiakim. 5th day of the month, the 4th month. Now, let's go forward to chapter 8. Now, it came to pass in the 6th year, in the 6th month. So 6th year of King Jehoiakim. In the 6th month, as I sat in my house with the elders of Judah sitting before me. Now wait a minute. In the 6th month, in the 5th day of the month, he's sitting in his house. He's sitting in his house with the elders of Judah. The 6th month. If you go with the 12th month year, he shouldn't be sitting in his house at all. What should he be doing? Lay on his side. Because if you go with a 12-month year, it's not until that 7th month that he's finished laying on his side, right? 3rd week of the 7th month. But you come here, you find out on the 6th month, he's not laying on the side. So you have to add a 13th month here to fulfill all those days. And so it's pretty clear, and it does fit. I've looked at it. It does fit that with 13 months, he's fine. Those days are over. That's probably why he's getting his next, event, where he sees the likeness, the appearance of fire, a similar vision to what he saw in chapter 1. And so there is a 13th month in the Bible if you understand that you need a 13-month year here in order to arrive properly to where Ezekiel is not violating Yahweh's word by sitting around. And Yahweh specifically said that he was going to force Ezekiel to lay on his side, right? He was going to force him to do it. And so he did. All right. So there's your 13th month. So we do have Adar the 2nd. And this month is Adar the 2nd. And so that's how I see it. You cannot turn from one side to the other. He was stuck, and Yahweh made sure he was all right. So that was a sign for Israel, and kind of a sign of Yeshua bearing their iniquity, right? So there are no other events I can talk to you about that would have taken place in the 13th month. So I wanted to share with everyone the barley reports. The fact that the new moon was seen by many witnesses last night. And so before sundown today was the first day of the 13th month, and now the sun is down. We're in the second day of the 13th month. So, all right, praise Yahweh. So what that means is we have Passover coming up approximately, not exactly, approximately 6 weeks away. And so we're excited for that. We do have Feast of Tabernacles planned, EliYah.com/FOT. If you're interested in joining us for Passover, you're welcome to join us for Passover. It's what the world calls April. The exact dates, Passover Day is going to be on the 13th of what the world calls April. 13th of what's called April. And then the first holy day will be the 14th of what's commonly called April, and that's when we eat unleavened bread for 7 days. And the last holy day will be the 20th, based on the calendar that I just described to you. Now, people have different calendars, different ideas, and I judge no one. for having a different view. But I'm sharing with you why I have the view that I have. So it's confirmed. We're in the 13th month, and here in about 1 month, we'll be looking forward to the new year. New year on Yahweh's calendar. We do believe there will be plenty of barley available. It's never happened that it wasn't. As long as I've been a believer, that's 35 years. So when it's that late, what the world calls March. So we will be working on our calendar that you can print out and hang on a wall and or download. So be looking for that. And we got, hopefully somebody will help us work on that. If you're interested in helping, feel free to email me, disciple@EliYah.com. So in the meantime, hope the remainder of your week is blessed. Shavua Tov, it means good week in Hebrew. Until this next broadcast, hopefully on Shabbat, hope that your week is a blessed one. Shalom, shalom.